Today's project, we're doing an alternator in a 2008 Lexus ISF. We searched the YouTube and we couldn't find any tutorials on doing the alternator in this car, so we're going to do one, and hopefully it'll help some of you guys out. Okay, the alternator on this car we found, I don't even know if we'll be able to see it from here, but it's down on the passenger side, bottom. Yeah, you can't see anything from up here. So we'll get it jacked up on the lift, take the bottom fascia off, or the splash guard, see what we can see from the bottom. Hopefully it's easy to get out from the bottom, but we're just kind of winging it here because we don't have a lot of info on doing this. So not much to see here. We'll get it on the lift and take a look at it then.
Let's see the door down.
Yeah, I had to put it down.
Big top.
All right, on top?
Yeah, I got quite a ways. Looks like you probably got 6 inches.
Yeah, as far as it goes.
Oh.
This chair.
Should all be the same length, right?
It's odd.
Yeah.
Crud falling on your head.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the new alternator. There's 2 bolts on the top, 2 on the bottom, and the electrical connectors on the top, battery connection. You can't see that in here, but so the 2 bottom bolts are easy to get to. They're here and here. I can see one of the top ones, and it looks like, see, is that part of the alternator, the new one?
It's,
yeah, it is. Yeah, it is part of it.
That's actually part of it, so it'll
But
separate.
it comes out, yeah, it comes out.
Separate
So it looks
from
like
the
we'll be able to get this out. These lines might be in the way a little bit, but I think we can slide it over and move this radiator line out of the way, and I think we can get it out of this cavity here.
In the way.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be over here more.
Yeah.
So, all right, we'll start getting it unbolted and we'll show you how we get it out. You need a breaker bar?
Maybe.
You're going the wrong way, I think. Yeah, you're definitely going the wrong way.
Oh! Jeez.
Hit it with the mallet or something, too.
I like to just get the palm of my hand like so painful for a week. That was my ligaments tearing. Jeez, there it goes. I wasn't ratcheting.
There's a big ground wire right here we're gonna need to pull off. It's right in the way too, but
Where is it?
it's right here. I don't know if that's, we can get it later. I don't think that's the same size.
Yeah, the sway bar is definitely in the way.
Yeah. One here, one there, and that will come down.
I might have to.
Is that also a 14 mil?
No, it looks like, oh, it might be.
Yeah. We could certainly drop that. I bet it would move a little bit.
Yeah, well, it also gives us room to get it out.
Reach, you need an extension.
No, it's on. Is that a 14?
Yeah.
Oh. Gotta do that.
That's going in the video.
You can't even. Oh, you can.
You get crap in your eyes. You want some glasses? Here, put these on. It's going to get all kinds of crud when you start doing that. other side's still up too. Alright. This one might move a little bit. I got my hand on it and holding it up. It's probably going to hit the other side though.
That one came out. The other one was still.
Was it hitting that tube?
It's hitting that. Yeah, that too.
Yeah. So that 12 millimeter, get that ground wire off the front.
Oh, right.
So there's 2 bolts at the top and then the electrical connector. We do need to release the belt.
Yeah, we need to do the belt before we.
Yeah, any further it'll start moving. So far enough, you can get your hand in there. You need to try to pull it off.
I got torque on that's rolling my chair.
I don't know, hold the chair. Just pull it off the alternator.
Yeah,
just
there
that's
you
all
go.
you. Just do that, and if you don't move much else, then it shouldn't go anywhere.
Oil's still warm in there.
It's a lot easier letting you work when I just video.
Yeah.
Where's it going, John?
All right, so pulling the airbox out definitely gave access to the last bolt and the battery cable on top of the alternator. So I've got it zoomed in on that now.
Huh.
So you can see
Yeah.
there's the battery cable, and then there's the last bolt is right here that I was trying to reach from the bottom.
Good night. It's hard to get to it.
So hopefully after moving those, then there's one other electrical connector on the top that we can get out, and that hopefully should release it. But you definitely want to get that from the top. A braking bar somewhere.
There it went.
Well, everything's detached from the alternator, but those pipes are so tight around it, I can't get it loose enough. So that stud right there's 2 of those with some sort of a triple square or torque type bit on the top of it, and I think I've got to remove those studs because otherwise the alternator won't slide far enough away from the engine block because the frame's right in the way, so it hits. If, with those studs in place, I don't think it'll slide far enough to the left. Alright, so these studs are on the top. I don't know what this bit is called, but mine is an E8, but it's slightly loose. So if you have an E7, that's probably what it needs, but they weren't very tight. So in my case, they just came right out with this E8. But if they were tight, I would be worried that you would strip off those ridges, but it came right out. And with that out, the alternator just drops straight down. So we'll put it back up on the lift and we'll be able to pull it out. All right, so came out pretty easily once I get those studs out. Those studs are right up in here, and these two spots here, and that let the alternator drop straight down. This bracket here that holds these transmission cooler lines are definitely kind of in the way, but once I pried it out, this stud right here goes in the side of the alternator. I'll show you the old one. But that bracket goes on the side of this stud here that holds those transmission lines. So it's kind of in the way, but once you pry that out and you get those studs out, it will drop straight down. We do have the sway bar disconnected on both sides, so I can slide that around. It helped a little bit, and then you had to kind of work it around this lower radiator pipe. But came out relatively easy. Once I, you'll definitely have to have the sway bar loose and get those studs out of there. But airbox was the key. There's no way you'd ever get to those top bolts without the airbox out of there. So, all right, now we just got to put it back in. Put the new one back in. Off. All right, I guess we go back up. That goes there. All right, we'll go back up. Putting the sway bar back on. Alright, the ground cable has to go in this bolt here, and then the ground to the engine block goes here. I had put that bolt on too soon, so I had to take it back out to get this bracket on.
Over here.
Maybe.
That'd be better.
Sure. Let's see. This way?
Do you got anything else for you up here?
I've got a whole bunch of bolts. Alright, now we're going to put the airbox back in. Vacuum line, there's one electrical connection, and then these two
Down there.
two bolts here, and that's it. There it goes. So on the bottom there's a pin. You gotta get that pin lined up before it'll drop down, and it stands about 1.5 to 2 inches high if you don't have it lined up. So, okay. So we have the one vacuum line here. Mass airflow sensor plugs in here. That's electrical. There's some sort of a shutter here for the intake. I don't know what that does, but it's a vacuum actuated unit. There's an electrical connector for that.
Push that enough. Oh.
Okay, alternator's in. We're going to start it. So key off or engine off voltage, 12.37 you can see there. So now we're going to start the engine, make sure that the voltage goes up. All right, go ahead and start it. Yeah, voltage is fairly low. So definitely charging, but I believe he needs a new battery. Do a battery check with this, got it from Amazon, KW210. Battery test, in vehicle, battery test. We've already did the headlights thing. It's a regular flooded. It says cold cranking amps. It's a 700 cold cranking amps battery. Yeah, it says replace the battery.
Right. Which is funny on the GTI.